Hi, Belltoppers. My clue is that I enjoy roller skating. Chapter 7. Ivy was used to the quirky ways of the goldfish. She didn't let it bother her. She knew he would come around. He always did. So did a substantial number of birds. There were always birds in the big oak tree outside. She was sure to find the first color of the rainbow among them. R, she said. Red. Red is for Red is for that bird. It's a cardinal, Toasty piped up. How do you know what I'm looking at? I can see everything you can see. One of the benefits of this tank. Number 3 Ramshorn Drive was a uniquely designed house. It was why the Tuppers had bought it. It had a large round foyer with rooms stemming from it like petals on a flower. The study, the den, the living room, and the dining room all branched out from the foyer. The, the kitchen was like the stem, long and narrow, leading to the back of the house. So you can see how Toasty, front and center in the foyer, had a clear view of the whole first floor. Okay, Ivy said. The cardinal counts for red. Next is orange. That's you, Toasty. I refuse to be called Orange. You may not use me as Orange. Please? No. Pretty, please? Absolutely not. Pretty puffy, please? That's two pleases with a cheese puff on top. Toasty did not want to give in. He was a goldfish, for goodness sake. If he wasn't gold, who was? But Ivy was so darn persistent, and he did want her to turn on the TV later. Being stuck in a tank was not all what it was not all it was cracked up to be. And don't get Toasty started on cracks. Cracks are not the friends of fish in tanks. One crack and whoosh, you're flapping in nothing but air. But if Toasty wanted Ivy to do important things for him, like fetch cheese puffs, he couldn't be too cranky. Pretty, puffy, cheesy, fine. But that means you must use me for gold too. Toasty, there is no gold in a rainbow. There's gold at the end of the rainbow. Toasty had it with this rainbow nonsense. Well, this is the end of this conversation and the end of the day. I am going to bed, and I don't want to talk to you until tomorrow. Ivy looked at the clock. Jillian hadn't even been gone an hour. Silly fish, it's still morning. Good night. Well, good night then, Toasty. Sweet dreams. Toasty would have sweet dreams. He would dream about a house with no houseplants. Yes, that would be quite the dream. Chapter 8. Ivy felt bad for Toasty. Toasty was having a bad day. A go back to bed, nobody understands me type of day. Ivy completely understood. She had had days like that too. But today wasn't one of them. She had a goal to accomplish, a rainbow to find, and a surprise to look forward to. Now, yellow should be easy. Ivy looked outside, but couldn't see any hint of yellow. And she glanced around the kitchen. And looky there, a banana. Perfect. Ivy knew the Roy part of the colors of the rainbow. They were red, orange, and yellow. And she was certain the next letter was G, which stood for green, the best color of all, just like her lovely leaves. There were so many lovely shades of green. She wished she could see them all at once. But what came after G? Roy G. It's Roy G. Bibb. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Oh, right, B for blue. Wait, who said that? Me, over here in the typewriter. Ivy stretched out until she was peering into the typewriter. Inside was a spider. Now, some of you might think seeing a spider in your typewriter would be a bad thing, but not Ivy. Ivy was thrilled. She hadn't seen anyone except Toasty to talk to in forever, and you've just experienced how frustrating talking to Toasty can be. So you can understand Ivy's delight. She was so excited that she didn't even notice the spider was looking at her strangely. Hello, Ivy said. How, how, how did you do that? The spider asked. Do what? Ivy looked down at herself. Oh, this? It's just something I can do. Look. Ivy stretched to the TV. She stretched to the front door. She stretched into Toasty's tank and dipped her head under the water. She came up laughing and sputtering. It's hard to talk underwater. Wow, I've never seen anything like that. It's amazing, said the spider. Ivy grinned. She had always thought she was amazing, and now the spider had confirmed it. She liked this spider. She liked him a lot. She ignored the fact that he really hadn't been talking about her. He had been talking about her ability to move. Now that she could move, she never thought about the time when she couldn't. Ahem. The spider was looking at her strangely. Oh, said Ivy, sorry. What were you doing down there in the typewriter? I'm stuck. Oh, no. Can I help? I'm stuck under the B. I'm stuck at B too, Ivy exclaimed, forgetting about the problem at hand. Blue is a toughie. There's not much blue in nature except the sky, of course, but it's cloudy now. And bluebells, maybe, but I haven't seen one of them. And I know there's blue birds, but I've never seen one of those either. And blueberries, but they're in the fridge and I can't see them from here. And I don't want to cheat, so I think, excuse me, could we focus on me for a minute? The spider pointed, and Ivy saw his teeny tiny leg was trapped under the B key. Chapter 9. Oh no, Ivy said. I will help you. I am very good at helping. Don't you worry. Be careful, said the spider. Oh, of course I will be. Oh, Ivy clapped her leaves together in excitement. Do you see how you said, be careful? And then I said, I will be all those wonderful bees. It must be because we're up to the B in the rainbow. This rainbow goal is much harder than I thought it was going to be. Ooh, there is a bee again. Maybe you could help me find something blue. The spider wondered if there was something wrong with the plant. He thought it was extremely insensitive of her to ask him to help her look for blue things while his poor little leg was stuck in the typewriter. But to move the process along, he decided to help. This envelope is blue. And sure enough, there was a long blue envelope addressed to Mr. Tupper lying right next to the typewriter. It had big red letters on it that said, Last Notice. But Ivy had already found red, so she didn't pay attention to those letters much. Well, that is perfect. Now, what do you say the other colors were? Indigo and violet. But they are very hard colors to find, so could we possibly focus on me? Of course, I'm so sorry. And while I'm helping you, may I ask who you might... Ivy giggled a bit here. Be? The spider rolled his eyes, although it was a decent joke. Normally, he loved a good joke. but normally he wasn't trapped in a typewriter. I'm Arthur. I'm a spider. I lived in a bookstore my entire life, but suddenly found myself here when that. At this juncture, Arthur pointed to the new desk that the Tuppers had brought home yesterday. And in case you are wondering, it was not a new desk. In fact, it was quite old and antique, as I'm sure you've realized. But it was new to the Tupper household, and the spider had had the bad luck to be sleeping in one of the drawers when it was loaded into the van and moved. Desk wound up here. Oh my, you've been relocated. Yes, exactly. I've been relocated to. Where am I? You're at number 3 Ramshorn Drive. Oh, well, that's something. The number 3 is a lucky number. I have 3 speckles on each of my leaves, Ivy exclaimed. Does that mean I'm lucky? Arthur peered at one of Ivy's leaves. 1, 2, 3 speckles. I have no idea if you're lucky, replied the spider. Are you lucky? Ivy thought about this for exactly 3 seconds. Yes, she said, I do believe I am lucky. Do you know who's not lucky? The spider asked. Ivy thought and thought. No, she answered. Who? Me! The spider yelled. I'm not lucky because I'm trapped in this typewriter. Help! Chapter 10. Ivy pulled on the B lever as hard as she could, and pop! The key snapped back into place. The spider was free. He scurried out of the typewriter and sat at the edge of the table, huffing hard. His 6th leg was bent at a strange angle. Oh, said Arthur, this is not good. Ivy hurried to the kitchen cabinet. This toothpick will help. It's called a toothpick, Arthur corrected her, looking at the small piece of wood, which was in fact colored pink. Jillian calls it a toothpick, Ivy said. And pink is just the loveliest color, isn't it? Why isn't pink part of the rainbow? I don't really understand how they picked the colors of the rainbow. I mean, what is indigo anyway? And where does it go? Arthur didn't know where to start, so he focused on the name he'd heard. Who's Jillian? Oh, Jillian is the little girl who lives here, and I'm her favorite. Arthur had never been anyone's favorite, not even his mother's. Of her 629 children, he was number 422 and could honestly say he'd never felt favored or even noticed. A spider's life is not full of family affection. How nice for you, Arthur said, but it's really called a toothpick, and if you use it to help me, I would be extremely grateful. Ivy gently placed the toothpick under Arthur's bent leg, and he secured it with some sticky silk. It made the perfect splint. I rather think this will do, he said, taking a few steps. I should be able to get back to the bookstore just fine now.